to answer your question, I like to receive that as a lesson, as to like, as a reminder of my purpose, and to remember why I'm here and how I got here. Like, because a lot of people question their purpose. A lot of people grow to be very impatient in whatever field that they're in. So a lesson that I would encourage everyone to kind of pay attention to is, how does God's will fit into this? How is he showing you that you are supposed to be here and that you are supposed to be here in this season? Because sometimes you're not supposed to be there in that particular season. Sometimes you're called to wait a little bit.
Ooh.
So that has been a great lesson for me.
Welcome to Storytime with Sirece.
Preview.
And now, let's all welcome your host, Sirece Thomas. Hey guys, hello. I know. We are back, so come on in. Don't be scared. I know the room looks a little different. It's been a while since we've been in the official talk show room space, so come on in, take a seat, okay? Because we are back with a story time with the Sirece. You know it's Saturday, and that's when we come out with our story times with Sirece. But this time we are back, okay? Because we have someone so dear and near and special to my heart. I know I've said this so many times before, but this person right here, many of you will already know. I mean, I have literally grown up with her, literally. And it's so wonderful to hear a little bit of the behind the scenes. Many of you see her on the big screens, on the stages. Many of you may know that in her background, she's got her LMSW, or as a licensed therapist, she is doing her thing, okay? And she has created a life that I've been inspired by on many levels, from mental to emotional, spiritual, relationships, learning what to say yes to and what to say no to. I have really learned from her decisiveness and really learning how to step into the life that's already been written for you. So we're going to talk a little bit about how she's come to make those decisions, as she clearly wears so many hats and juggles so many things. Like I said, from the performing arts and the eye, theater, mental health professional. It's a lot, and I understand it. And sometimes you kind of just want to be like, you know what, I'm just gonna. And she definitely just keeps going. She keeps knocking. She keeps walking through the doors that God's opening for her, and the doors literally keep opening. And I love to be able to interview someone to just get a little lesson or nugget that we can all take with us as we all are pursuing lives in Christ. Wanting to do what we want, but also wanting to make sure that we're in line with his will. So what I need you guys to do is stand. That's right. Stand to your feet. I don't care if you're in your living room, your bathroom, you're somewhere weird like a bus. Stand up and give a loud round of applause for my Cuddy Bear, my cousin, the professional, the actress, okay? Commercials you've seen her on, most recently on Uber. Let's give it up for the Miya Mayo Bass. That's what I need that sound.
Oh, you do.
Girl. So yes, guys, it's my cousin.
It's me.
She's here. And this conversation is going to flow so smoothly because we have many of these conversations. And I'm like, girl, yeah, we need to.
Yeah.
Recently, we were just talking about that, like creating the life that you want, creating the life that aligns with his will, because sometimes what we want is just like, you realize, okay, I got to switch it up, because sometimes we'll realize you feel that resistance to things and you're like, why is this not giving me peace, or why isn't this working? Because it may not be meant for us. And you have been so decisive in learning how to gracefully just walk away, or being confident in knowing when to walk through those doors. And so I want to talk to you about that. And so I want you to tell us a little bit about yourself, a little bit about who you are for those that don't know, okay? And how you came to where you are today. You know, you were born and raised.
As Sirece has said, my name is Miya Mayo Bass, and she was not truthful. I'm not an artist. I actually clip carpet. Just kidding. Born and raised in Southside Jamaica, Queens. I grew up under a very artistic household. My mom put all of her kids in dance school and grew up. Some of us stuck with the arts, and some of us did not. I'm one of the children that did stick with the arts. So I grew up to be a dancer, singer, and actress, and still am. And as my Cuddy Wuddy has mentioned earlier, it's so hard to do this
I
without
know, that's what
dying
I
laughing
said.
at Sirece.
I said, not introducing her
Sirece
as my
is,
Cuddy.
you know how hard it is to not laugh? Like,
Yo,
it's hard. It's hard.
that's what
Guys,
makes
it's
it so
hard. Okay.
amazing.
Trying to keep it professional, like, hi, my name is Maya. And
Yeah, no, never, never. Not here. Not here, girl.
oh my God. But yeah, along the trajectory of my career, I stumbled upon mental health. And I don't think it was by coincidence, because it happened during the pandemic, where mental health crisis was at an all-time high. So right now I'm living a bit of a hybrid of mental health and performing arts. And I'm still growing in it. I'm still cultivating my career. It's still evolving. It's so beautiful. It's so fun. It's so freeing. And yeah, I mean, I do a lot.
You
I
really
do
do
a
do
lot,
a lot.
and my
You
life
juggle
is
so
very
many hats.
fulfilling.
Exactly. And I'm like, sometimes
Yes.
I'm like, dang, girl, like, how you on a whole theater stage, and then I see an Uber commercial pop up, and then I'm just like hearing that you're teaching a class or something on mental health, or, leading
Right.
a group into that. And I'm just like, I know that's a lot, because you're also a family woman. You're also an incredible
Hmm.
friend. And I know that it's just
Yeah.
a lot to juggle, because like literally all of those, theater, music, the music
Hmm.
industry, because I still see you. She does so many covers. If you check out her YouTube channel, I'm gonna put that information down below, as well as, doing TV and juggling being with family and being with friends. It can just get overwhelming a little bit, because like all of those categories come with something, there's
Yeah.
none of it is smooth. So as we kind of go into that, and you kind of covered how you discovered his will, like you've got all your siblings, your mom
Hmm.
grew you in the arts, but you kind of like, clung to that and decided to pick up
Hmm.
that arts piece and continue going, and knowing that this is where God is calling you. And so with
Yeah.
all the things,
Hmm. Right.
theater, family, juggling all of these things, relationships, romantic relationships, child,
Uh-huh.
been there, done that. What are some of like the biggest, if you had to talk about two or three of the biggest lessons you've learned traveling on such a unique journey, where you've had to take some leaps of faith and also
Uh-huh.
let some things go? What were some of those lessons learned for you, even if it's one?
I think the greatest lesson that I had to learn was like just making sure that I am within God's will. And I people would ask me questions like, how do you get so many gigs? How do you book so many opportunities and jobs? And my answer is the same, God. So what happens is, as a performing artist, your job is auditioning. Like, that's a job. That's not like, oh, I'm going in for it. Like, that's a part of the job, right? So I audition and I book things. I want to say most of the time I have been booked for things that I did not audition for. And that is a tall tale sign that this was meant for me. So I like to recognize those moments, and I don't take those moments lightly, right? Because you're auditioning, and practicing and practicing. And then boom, you get a phone call or an email asking, hey, can you perform in this production? It's like, whoa. So that's a sign from God, like, okay, this is meant to be. You want me here in this field. So I like to answer your question, I like to receive that as a lesson, as to like, as a reminder of my purpose, and to remember why I'm here and how I got here. Like, because a lot of people question their purpose. A lot of people grow to be very impatient in whatever field that they're in. So a lesson that I would encourage everyone to kind of pay attention to is, how does God's will fit into this? How is he showing you that you are supposed to be here, and that you are supposed to be here in this season? Because sometimes you're not supposed to be there in that particular season. Sometimes you're called to wait a little bit.
Ooh.
So that has been a great lesson for me. Another lesson that I have clung to is, um, organization. There's no way you can live such a freelancer type lifestyle, going from virtual job to traveling to that state to going to this city and driving here and flying there. If you're not organized, you're going to miss out on money, you're going to miss out on opportunities. So that's another really big thing that I have honed in on, like being super diligent with my scheduling and my time. And speaking of my time, that's a whole other conversation because people will play with your time. And I don't play with my time. So I don't let people play with my time either. So boundaries is an entirely different 30-hour Zoom that we're going to have to come back to on another day.
I can't even say it. I can't even say it loud because it takes my energy.
Baby, as soon as someone says back, but I'm like, yeah, me too. Me too.
Ooh, girl.
Boundaries is the word of the season, honey. Okay.
It's my neck shake. Oh my gosh, you said so many profound things. And I love hearing from people who are doing it. Not people that are aspiring to do it. Not saying there's anything against that, because like you clearly said, there are seasons and times when God is calling you to do things. And sometimes there's actually seasons of waiting. And actually in your season of waiting, God is still calling you to do things. Many times on yourself, working on yourself. And I know you've been through seasons of waiting, but I love one of the biggest things that I'm learning and that you just reconfirmed is like, God is always speaking to you. I love how you said, see how God shows you that you are in the field that you're supposed to be in. And it was crazy how you said, because I actually didn't really even realize that a lot of the gigs that you received, you didn't even audition for. And I was just listening to a podcast where it's just like, don't sleep because you don't know where God is revealing you and your name to. You don't know who's having a conversation about you because God has just revealed to them that you are the person for the job. And so I love how you are able to be affirmed by God speaking to you. I love that you talked about patience, because people will just quit because especially in the season of waiting, people will just chuck the deuces. They will say, you know what, this must not be it. And that's not always the case. And so you even said to be cognizant of the season that you're in. Either it's a season of go or it's a season of waiting, but that does not mean it's a season of let me give up, you know? And then, oh my gosh, if you don't know this girl, and this is so key, when she talks about being organized, on time. She is before on time. She is the on time is late. I am the like, give me like 2 more minutes. She is the I'm already here like 15 minutes before. And what I love about people that have that promptness is, and I'm getting better and better because I'm realizing how much more being on time literally speaks to a much bigger picture. It speaks to your responsibility. It speaks to your mindset. It speaks to your respect for somebody else's time. Okay, so as we talk about reclaiming your time, like you said, that's a whole different story time, which I have to have you back for because, whoo, child, I love that, you know, being on time, like in the physical and even just in the spiritual, knowing when it's time to let something go, when it's time to exit stage left, no pun intended, my old Peru there. Knowing when it's time to step in, knowing when it's time to have a confrontation. Let me just melt in my seat because we talk about that a lot. Knowing when it's time to set a new boundary, but you got to be on time and you have to be organized with the way that you do that, even in the physical. Like she talked about making sure her stuff is in order and her bag. Like this girl is always on the road. I can't imagine that. But even in our lives, we are always on a journey, and you need to be organized and on time in your thoughts and understanding, okay, where am I? What season am I in? And what are you asking me to do? And let me not delay. Because those are some of the lessons that we learned. So talking about reclaiming your time in just a little bit of time, you know, what were some of the things from pursuing career? I just remember, and I love this, and we're talking about creating this life because I'm telling you, like, I've literally watched her and still watching her grow into a life that it's almost like she built from scratch. But as she continues to attest, it's not her, it's God who's kind of given her the steps to show her how to build this life all of us have a unique calling, and many of us just try to fall into what somebody else is doing instead of just understanding that, yeah, it may take a little bit more work, but I need you to build this from scratch because only you can do what you do. And I've watched you build these things from scratch and pursue certain careers and also know when to be like, you know what, this ain't it because I need to reclaim my time. I need to reclaim my energy. I need to
Mhm.
reclaim my peace from your jobs to your relationships. Tell me a little bit of, I'll guess I'll say, what were some of the key indicators when you were like, yeah, I gotta, I gotta, I gotta, and you know what's crazy for me? Some of us are better than that than others. I definitely struggle with letting go. About it could take years for me to say, like,
Mhm.
it can take years for some people to look back and say, I can't believe I spent that much time and energy in this thing, in this person.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
knew God was always saying, girl. And,
Right.
and then, but some people, it can be like, it could take a day, it could take a week.
Hmm.
Wake up and you're like, nope, I will
Hmm.
not give my time, energy, and attention to
Yeah.
that anymore because I
Uh-huh.
see the fruit of it is not everybody will understand that.
Yeah.
So, what were some of those indicators for you where you're like, I need to reclaim my time, and this isn't the job for me, this isn't the relationship for me, this isn't the habit for me, whatever it was?
I think the indicator for me is anything that takes away from me, that brings me to the negative versus bringing me to the positive, like anything that's like literally eating at me, whether it's a relationship or a job. And thank God that I learned this lesson years ago. So it's been quite a while since I've allowed someone to waste my time because and I thank God for it because I still watch people kind of struggle with it, and I be like, "Oof, that used to be me." Praise God, not anymore. But yeah, I mean, time is money, right? So I don't have a 9 to 5. I don't have a consistent paycheck coming from one company every, second week or whatever.
Exactly.
My income comes from several different companies, several different theaters, several different entities, right? So going back to the idea of being like super organized, if I'm not organized, like I could literally miss out on money, and my money is what sustains my lifestyle. So, in that same vein of like being super diligent and strategic, I can't let anyone waste my time. Like I just can't, right? I've learned how to master language.
Oh,
So depending on the conversation, whether you're someone trying to enter my life as a friend, whether you're someone who's trying to hire me, I listen for certain keywords. I see, I notice your professionalism. I see how fast or slow you respond to emails or texts. Like I pay attention to all of that. Like I've mastered all of that right now because I live in my emails, I live in conversations and stuff like that. So in terms of, again, dodging dodging people from wasting my time. And again, I give glory to God for this. Like I it's easy for me. It's easy. And it's an easy dismissal, like, wow, this has been wonderful. Thank you so much for your time. But I think that this is not a good fit for me, or I don't think you're a good fit for me.
mhm.
So I think it's for anyone who's listening to this and trying to wonder, like, dang, like, how can I avoid wasting time with people and jobs and things? I think it's a matter of working on the skill of identifying potential time wasting. Like, is this for you? Is this for this season? Is this person serious? Does it align with your vision? Does it align with your future? How much money will it cost you? Right? Because sometimes things cost you. And I don't only mean financially, like some stuff costs you
But
mentally, right? You don't want to walk into a situation where you're going to lose your mind every day.
mm,
Like that would be me if I did sales. I would literally lose my mind. Like sales is not my jam. And I know some people that like sales is their jam, honey. They can get you to buy a sock and a tattoo within 1 hour.
yep.
That's not for me. So it's all about recognizing what works for you and then kind of learning to master the language of like invitation, like what's the offer? When's the offer? Who are you? How do we fit into each other's lives? You know what I mean?
Oof, I love that. Starting with you saying, kind of breaking down three things, like have a life that is
Hmm.
purposed, and
Hmm.
date the situation or the person to listen for who they
Hmm.
are, and then
Hmm.
have the appropriate language to either invite them in or see them to the door. And I love that because you
Yeah.
talked about, like, even from being organized, like having a life that's purposed is so key. One of the
Hmm.
things I learned even about myself is when you have too much idle time, you don't
Hmm.
even realize what and who is wasting your time or your value,
Yeah.
because you
Yeah.
are just like, you don't have somewhere to be.
Yeah.
And you don't need a 9 to 5 to do that. And I've learned that very quickly. There is always something to do that is
Always.
productive. And it doesn't mean that you have to constantly be physically doing something, but are
Hmm.
you in line with what God is asking you to do? And
Yeah.
things, jobs, people can so easily distract you from being
Hmm.
tuned in. And so I love
Yeah.
how you started off by saying that. Are these things or people adding to you, or are they literally eating
Yeah.
away from how God is literally doing this along your life, trying to
Hmm.
build you, not trying. He
Hmm.
is building you up, and he is
Yeah.
adding to who you are. There are people that are literally coming in and subtly, and maybe not intentionally, maybe they don't
Yeah.
even realize it.
Yeah.
Sometimes the enemy comes in very familiar circles that
Yeah.
we are comfortable with. We're like, yeah, of course this job, of course this habit, I've been doing this.
Hmm.
But sometimes a habit, a job, or a person in a new season ain't it. It could be
Right.
it could be detrimental when one time that it was super productive. And those things
Yeah.
literally take away from who you are as a person, your values, your moral, and
Hmm.
they can literally waste your time. So I love that you say, I believe that having a life that's purposed and living
Hmm.
with purpose allows you to
Yeah.
say, I don't have time for that. Even if it's
Right.
me to take a nap, you are taken away from my little nap, because after my nap, I have things to do. I need to keep
Yeah.
my mind refreshed. I need to keep my eye gate and ear gate aware of the things I'm taking in. And
Right.
I thought about I think about dating a job, dating
Hmm.
a person,
Yeah.
you literally said, like, I listen for what people are saying. I
Hmm.
watch for how they're responding to text or
Yeah.
emails. Are you serious about this?
Hmm.
Are you okay? Maybe you're a cool, but maybe not a friend. Maybe you're an acquaintance, because
Yeah.
see how you move, and I'm not, it's cool. I just need to know.
Right.
For the job, you may get into a job and 3 weeks in, you're like, ooh, this is not what I thought it was going to be. And so
Yeah.
you, like, saying that you have to have the language is even more key, because God teaches us that we can speak the truth, but we have to be
Yeah.
able to do that in love. So it's just like, hey, yeah, thank you so much. I am so appreciative. I've learned that. I think we were raised like that in our family, to, just be able to speak to people in love. And it's not
Uh-huh.
an easy conversation. Many times
Yeah.
I don't even want to have it. I'm the type that
Yeah.
I'll just be like, can I just stop? But God will always convict me and say, you need to say, I don't care how many times you need to say something, you need to say it. You need
Yeah.
to say it, and you need to say it in love. Sometimes he'll have you move on. Sometimes he'll have you come to the table and have that hard conversation, and you
Yeah.
have learned from each other, because me and her have had to have hard conversations. And this is why
Hmm.
I respect and love her so much, because you can see how we both have grown over time,
Hmm.
to be able to have the right language and also
Yeah.
learn how to respect that person. That she's not the same person. She's not the same
Right.
cousin that I had 10 years ago, and I'm not the same cousin she had 10 years ago. Our lives have changed, our circumstances have changed, but we were able to respect those changes, learn those
Yeah.
changes, not
Hmm.
always, but come to be like, oh, I really see it now.
Yeah.
And so I think that's so key. So I love how you say that, and kind of coming into the end of this interview about, I mean, you just gave us so many nuggets, and they're so key. It's so affirming for me, because I'm like, okay, okay, because some people literally feel crazy. Like, am I doing
Yeah.
it right? You kind of, all of this protects your peace, because we talk about
Hmm.
protecting your peace. And I love that, especially in COVID, this is something that kind of rose up for you with mental health. and even physical health, because child, that's all we talk about. I love
Yeah.
talking to my daddy about physical health. You need, and let me tell you something, you need to talk to people that are on the same wave as you, because you can talk to people about physical health. Girl, you look good. Okay, I can't talk to you. But like, I need somebody that's like, yeah, girl, this is what I've done. This is what I've tried. Well, I need you.
Right.
And so we're always bouncing things off of each other. But how much has your piece, come into play when it came to you realizing how important your physical and your mental health were? Because after you reclaim your time, now it's like you and yourself trying to figure out, okay, am I in a good place mentally to even reclaim the right time? Because you've got to have a peaceful mind. You've got to be confident in who you are before you can even start deciding where to set boundaries with places, things, and
Mm-hmm.
people, because then you'll just be doing things all over the place. How did that
Yeah.
come into play for you, your mental health and your physical health?
I, so maintaining my peace, um, adds to the mental health and the physical health, right? So, um, I mean, I don't know how to not tie everything back to boundaries.
It's
So
the nucleus.
it's the nucleus.
The
So my
nucleus.
mental health, I protect my mental health and my peace by just again knowing me. Like I know what I like, I know who I like, I know how to maintain and sustain my time, and I know how to be productive and how to avoid not being productive. Same thing with my physical health, right? I know what I like and what I don't like, right? Everybody's not a salad girl. I'm not a salad girl. But I had to discover my own ways of like, okay, what do you like, but what's also healthy? And I also had to exercise in the way that I like that other people may not like. Like I can't do groups, I can't do trainers. Like I have to do it on my own. And whatever's successful for me, it's successful for me. So definitely being able to just know what works for me. Everybody is different. And I mean that literally. Everybody is different, right? So what you eat and consume and what I eat and consume could be the same exact thing, but we will respond differently. Somebody
Yep.
might lose weight eating the same exact thing as somebody else eats, and they're gaining weight because your metabolism is different, your chemistry is different, everybody's makeup is different. So I think I have learned myself to the point where I have been able to be skillful at maintaining my peace, maintaining my mental health, maintaining my physical health. Now, I'm not a robot, and I'm obviously not perfect. So there are times where I do fall off mentally and I do fall off physically because mama likes her Ben and Jerry's. Let's keep it above.
I know that's right.
Mama
Exactly.
likes the Ben and Jerry's
Listen.
time, specifically at nighttime. And it's got me.
A certain hour hits it, it's like, Ben, Jerry.
Right. I lost a couple of pounds recently, and then I literally just made myself a big bowl of banana pudding. Because yeah, who's perfect here? Okay.
It's the holiday. It's the holiday. It's the holiday.
Right? Excuses. My birthday
Exactly.
just
Always a reason. Always a reason.
my birthday. So, I
Listen,
mean, that's pretty much it. I mean, I feel like my answers kind of sound the same because
no.
it's a matter of like perfecting the skill of language, perfecting the skill of knowing self, perfecting the skill of knowing others. And also, speaking of knowing others, I also want to piggyback off what you said earlier. Like, everybody doesn't waste your time on purpose. Like, I want to be clear on that because sometimes we relate time wasters with like, oh, you're a snake, or let me watch out. Like they're not always a negative person. It could be the sweetest person or somebody who's genuinely trying to collab with you artistically and professionally, and they're just not there yet. You know
Mm.
what I'm saying? But when you talk about the analogy of God building us up and someone potentially knock you down, like I think of like Jenga blocks, and
Mm.
all it takes is for one wrong block and your whole thing comes crumbling down. So it's not about like, okay, well, they seem a little disorganized, but I guess I'll work with them. Like, be very careful because all it takes is one little block and then you got to build all over again. You just never know what you would have to like rebuild and redo. Like you have to be your own gatekeeper. You
Mm.
have to be your own gatekeeper, bro. Like you have to be your own self advocate. Like you just have to. we
I
always we always use mental health and therapy specifically as an emergency. Like people always go to therapy because I just got a divorce or because my great grandmama just died. And it's like, no, 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 no. Don't wait for an emergency. It's a day by day, brick by brick sense of health. You should be healthy every single day. The same way you brush your teeth every morning is the same way you should take a time of moment of prayer and meditation. It should be a part of your daily routine. And I have, again, being the schedule freak, I have kind of built my life so that I am on a daily basis working on myself. And as I'm working on myself, I'm learning myself. I'm learning my weaknesses. I'm learning my strengths. And I put all of these things together to try to live the healthiest version of myself that I can be.
girl, Selah. Selah. I love that. I mean, that Jenga analogy is everything because it
Mm-hmm.
also shows you just how delicate our life,
Mm-hmm.
our journey can be. How
Yeah.
one decision or one interaction or
Yeah.
one wrong job or one wrong place or one wrong
Relationship.
relationship can have
Hello.
something crumbling down. And sometimes along the way, you're building and you're taking certain blocks with you.
Mhm.
And like you just said, sometimes it takes you a little bit of time to really learn yourself, where you
Right.
get to a place in that Jenga where you're like, I can't take you with me no more. Because if I
Yeah.
take you to the top, I'm gonna crumble. I'm gonna
Yeah.
crumble. And it's nothing, it's not, I'm sorry.
Hmm.
It's not personal, it's hard, but like I can't take this with me. I can't take that habit. I can't go this way, or it's gonna continue to affect what I know to be of my value. So that Jenga analogy is everything. And like you said, we're all just like we're always learning other people. Like I'm always learning more about my spouse. I'm learning more about my mom as we get older and we change.
Yeah.
I'm learning more about myself. I'm
Yeah.
becoming a stronger advocate. You can either become a stronger advocate for yourself, or you can become the let anybody and anything in.
Whew.
It could go either way. You can become
Yeah.
so open, and you kind of can. I hate to say it, but you can kind of tell those people that live this like open, anybody, anything go.
Whew.
They
Oh yeah. Super
and
permeable.
they think they have control over that. But you can
Yeah.
see like, woo, you really don't have this level of advocacy for who God has
Yeah.
built you up to be. You're not protecting those pieces that are broken.
No.
So I love the nuggets that you gave us, about God is speaking. I had to write these things down. Being patient, God will show you and confirm where you are. So you don't have
Yeah.
to wonder if you're in the wrong place, understanding your season.
Hmm.
Sometimes you're waiting. Sometimes God will bless you with things that you didn't even necessarily go knock on the door for, but it'll be in the field that you're in.
Right.
And that is such a confirmation. Being
Hmm.
organized, being on time in your actual life and in your own internal life, having like a schedule, making sure that you're organized by being in God's word, having time
Right.
for prayer, you know what I'm saying? All of those things. And then coming to that place of boundaries being the nucleus so that you can live a life that's on purpose, date people
Hmm.
and understand who they are, and find out the appropriate language. So, girl, that's all that you just gave us. Okay, talking about all your answers sound the same. I had to write that thing down because these are key. So I hope you guys rewind a little bit because there were some
Right.
really golden nuggets in there that I have to actually
Right.
re-listen to because ultimately, like she said, boundaries are the nucleus
Right.
everything that you do. You know what I'm saying? The only person that you let all in is God. You let him come in and reconstruct, and he's always going to move things around. And many times you're like, why are you doing this now? And he's like, because you wasn't hearing me years ago when I was
Right.
with you. You were hearing me, but you just weren't ready to do so. And now I'm coming
Yeah.
back to you, and you're realizing certain things now that you have to be able to reorganize or
Hmm.
reconstruct so that he can create and allow yourself to live the best life that he created for you and that you can
Hmm.
actually build that life from scratch. Maya, you are a walking testimony of being able to live a life, that you're building from scratch under
Hmm.
God's direction. And I encourage people out there to know like You don't have to follow someone else's guidebook. You don't have to copy the way someone else is doing anything. You don't have to covet the things that are happening in other people's lives. You just have to trust that what God has for you, you can build it from scratch. And along the way, you've got to be very intentional about the things we talked about, with boundaries being the nucleus, and knowing what he's saying to you and allowing yourself to reclaim your time and your energy, because
Period.
it takes a lot of time and energy to do what you're doing. It
Yeah.
takes a lot of time and energy to hold on to the faith and even to hold on to your value. Because I'm sure there's some days where you're just like, oh, like, is this for me? Am I doing my best?
Mhm.
Is this something I can do? So I completely tip my hat off to you for that, because we're always going to get discouraged along the way. And so it takes a lot more time and energy to keep ourselves encouraged. You want to make
Mhm.
sure you're surrounded by things, habits, and people that are also doing the same. So
Period.
to have you back here. This is so wonderful. I love you, Cuddy. Make sure
I
you
love you more.
check her out. I mean, if you just visit her page, I will give you her Instagram page down below, YouTube, Facebook. You will see all the wonderful things that she's doing. She's constantly posting flyers about her next gig. So if she's in
Yes.
your area, make sure you go and check her out.
Yes.
Stage, or you'll probably just stumble upon her commercials by accident, which is always the best. Okay. So I'm excited for all God is going to continue doing. It's exciting to see what he's already done in your life, from The Voice to theater to Uber commercials to LMSW. Like, I cannot wait to see where you're going, especially as I've gotten to sit and witness your growth internally, your mental health, your spiritual growth, your decisiveness, and, setting boundaries and forgiving, and our conversations. You know what I'm saying? So I know that God is delicately building you up, and he's about to continue to take you to new heights. And we're just here sitting in the front row watching.
Thank you for having me on this wonderful story time with my cuddles.
I'm so excited. We definitely have to have you back.
Yes, I definitely have to come back. This was so fun. Thank you so much. And I love you so much, Papa.
I love you, Cuddle Bottle. Well, guys, thanks so much for tuning into this week's Saturday Storytime with Sirece. We cannot wait to see all the wonderful things that are going to be coming with Maya and some of our future guests. So make sure you guys tune in. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share, and hit that notification bell so that you can see future Storytimes with Sirece that are coming up. We've got some exciting announcements and more adventures coming your way. So we love you guys. We'll see you very soon, actually next week, Saturday. And make sure you guys stay blessed and start looking at some of those boundaries in your own life. And if something stuck out to you, please leave it in the comments so I can respond to you. And we'll see you very soon. Bye, guys.